So, for this week, do you have words, expressions, anything for me, Amy? Before we get started, we're going to be doing a new writing project that's going to take a couple class periods, maybe 2, maybe 3 class periods to do. But I still would like to do the first discussion portion of the class. And it's chilly, so I'm gonna close this. I know there's more people coming in, but cold. So,
Stop and smell the roses.
Stop and smell the roses. Okay. So, stop and smell the roses means you're making sure you're taking time to enjoy the important things in life. Is life all about your job? Is that the only thing that you should worry about in life? No, right? There are many important things in life. So, for example, this comes from like someone walks to work every day and they walk past a bunch of flowers and then just walking straight to work. And then they leave from work and they walk straight home and they don't stop to smell the roses. They don't stop to appreciate the beauty of life. They don't stop to appreciate things other than where they're going and where they need to get back to.
So that means they are working so hard?
It's not just work. It's just like anything in general. If you're focusing too much on one thing and not appreciating the small things in life, so when you stop and smell the roses, you're taking a break. Whatever it's from, whether it's from work, whether it's from, I don't know, you're planning your wedding and so, okay, I'm stopping to smell the roses, like sit down, have a cup of coffee, relax, like not. So you're taking time away from whatever you were doing to relax, to enjoy your time, okay? Because when someone's stopping to smell the roses, they're stopping to enjoy their time. And then go. Okay, so taking time to relax. Okay, Melanie. Melody, I got your email. Don't worry, I won't let the cat out of the bag. But it should be, I will be at the end. At the end of my road. Because you said that will be the end of my road. So say I'm at the end of my road. And then that's fine. So alright. So so stop and smell the roses just means taking time, taking a break from whatever you're doing. You're taking time to relax. Okay? Other expressions, other words?
So how do you make a sentence with that phrase?
So like maybe I know that you have a really busy week this week, but then I see you downstairs and you're in the teacher lounge, but you're not eating lunch, you're just kind of having a cup of coffee and you're not looking at your phone, you're just kind of enjoying a cup of coffee and go, oh, hey, how's it going, Amy? Oh, hi. Just taking time to smell the roses or taking time to stop and smell the roses, right? It's been such a busy week. I'm stopping to smell the roses, okay? So it's just you're taking time for yourself to relax, okay? Or maybe I see you and I say, hey, stopping to smell the roses, are you? Yeah, so busy this week, okay? More phrases.
One,
Amy.
all hands on deck.
All hands are on deck. And it's actually all hands on deck. Now if you put an R in there, it changes the meaning a little bit. So all hands on deck means we need everyone to get to work. What it comes from, a deck is the top part of a ship, right? So if there's an emergency, like back in the days of pirates, right, and like the British Navy. So say that you're a pirate ship and you see the British Navy ship coming, and they're about to start firing their cannons at you and shoot at you. You would yell, because if maybe there's some people downstairs sleeping, you'd say, "All hands on deck!" And they all come up and they all do their job and they help to work, right? So if there's something, say that like we need all hands on deck for this, we need everyone to be doing the job that they need to do to get this done, right? If you say all hands are on deck, it means everyone is already helping, okay? So including this changes the meaning. Instead of saying we need everyone to be doing it, to everyone is doing it. So there's no more people to help out. All hands are on deck. There's no more extra people that can help. Okay? Everyone is helping. Right? So, other phrases? Oh, and a hand on a ship was just like one of the workers on a ship. They're called a hand, a ship hand. Okay. Alright. Others?
Invoice and receipt.
Invoice.
Oh, invoice and receipt. What the difference between?
Basically the same thing. But an invoice will be more official and on a piece of paper. Right? Like a big piece of paper saying whatever is. So say you get a shipping bill and they give you an invoice and it'll say like everything that's on it, and then it'll have the price and whatnot. And the receipt is just how much, like you can get a receipt at, it's a FACA, right? So like invoice is similar, but it's more official.
Official.
Yeah, so it's something that's a little bit more official. It's almost the same thing. Okay. Let me make sure. But yes, so they're both basically the same thing. An invoice is a type of receipt. An invoice is just more official. So
Invoice. See.
So a receipt is more just a general term. So you can get like a receipt for like of the price paid for something, or like you go to dinner and you get the check, that's a receipt, okay? So it might not have the items listed, it might just have the price, and then you went to that store and that's the price that you paid. But a lot of the times nowadays, like you go to like, I don't know, RT Mart, you buy a bunch of things and it'll say you bought a sweatshirt, you brought bread, you bought ice, you brought whatever you bought is listed. That can also be considered an invoice. But an invoice typically more official. It's printed off and sent with a package. And then you check and you say, okay, there's 2 boxes of this, there's 4 boxes of this, and you look at the shipment and you're like, oh, okay. It has the price and where it came from, who it's shipping to. So invoice is just a more formal way of saying a receipt, and companies send invoices typically to other companies, as where a receipt is just
Invoice.
more or less the same thing. Okay? Any other words? Any other phrases?
I got a quote, clever quote, is March 4th. The only day that is also a sentence. What does it mean?
Okay.
Yes.
So, March 4th, and actually, we wouldn't have that comma there. March 4th, this would be the date, right? And then March 4th, going forth, it's like forward. So March 4th, the March, right? So that's when it becomes a sentence. Because you have your verb, and then direction, so March 4th. Yeah.
So it's also a sentence. Oh.
Yeah, yes, no, like this is not a sentence, March 4th. I mean, yeah, it could be, but, yeah. So it's just saying, it's a pun, what we call a pun. So a pun is like using the double meaning of a word. I named my dog 5 miles, so I can tell people that I walk 5 miles every day. Right? Do you get that, how that's a pun? Right? I'm walking my dog, but if it's named 5 miles, it sounds like I walk 5 miles every day. Right? The distance. Okay? So that's a pun. So a pun is a play on words. It uses the double meaning. Okay? Hi, Daniel. Okay? So it takes 2 meanings. So this word, fourth, is the pun. So fourth has 2 meanings. So fourth, right? And then fourth to go forward. So that's the double meaning. That's the pun. Right? So it's taking advantage of words that have more than 1 meaning. Okay? So that's a pun. Okay? Alright. Any others? No? None? Greedy and glumly or glumly? G-L-U? Okay. Greedy is you want everything for yourself. So you can be greedy about money. You want as much money as you can. You can be greedy about food. My dog is greedy. Right? She'll stand and guard her food from the cat. Right? Okay? So you want it for yourself. Right? And then glumly, it's kind of like in a sad way. So like, he said glumly that his finger hurts. So the way that he says it is in a sad way. It's like, oh, my finger hurts, right? It's not like, hey, my finger hurts, right? So glumly, to say in a sad way, or to do in a sad way, okay? Glum. To be glum is to be sad. Okay? G-L-U-M, glum. Oh, don't be so glum. Okay. weather outside is pretty glum. It's like kind of rainy, right? Talks about the mood. Okay? Any final words before we move along? Okay, let me go back to this projection. Alright. So, gonna be dealing with problem solution. So, alright. So, I want to work on writing, dealing with making a suggestion on how to do something differently or better at work. Okay? So, it's dealing with suggestions, and I want you to think about this is going to be a several part writing assignment. We're going to go through the writing process. So we're going to do, I'll talk about the writing process in a little bit, the preparation stages, the first drafting stages, then the correction stages, and then have a finalized piece, okay, at the end. So what I want you to think about, alright, you need to think about something at work you'd like to change within your job, okay? It can be big or it can be small, doesn't matter, okay? So think about whether it's a problem, whether it's just something you'd like to change how you do at work, whatever it is, okay? So, what are the consequences? If there's something that's happening that's a problem, what problem does it create? Okay? Maybe it's as simple as the type of printer that you have in your office and it doesn't print properly, so you want to talk about getting a new printer. So the problems that it has, oh, it always gets jammed. I try to send files to it, it doesn't print, it's out of date, it doesn't work with my computer, whatever the problem is. Okay, so those are the consequences. So what's happening because of it? So think about that as well. And then think why it needs to change. Okay? I'm not thinking you don't need to change the way the school operates. You're not redesigning, whatever it is. Just think of a simple problem. Don't overthink it. Okay? And you can think of a couple different problems. Alright? And so then you need to think about possible solutions. So we're going to start with the introduction. The introduction paragraph is going to introduce the problem. It's going to talk about the consequences, why it needs to change. Then you're going to do body paragraphs, okay? So whatever one that you choose for the problem, you need to come up with solutions. And I want you to come up with at least 2 solutions for it, okay? So each body paragraph contains 1 solution. So you need to make the suggestion of what the solution is, and then what will the consequence or result of that suggestion. So when you make that change, what will happen because of that, okay? Then you will have a conclusion, okay? And conclusion is the last paragraph, and it's where you make the recommendation. Which solution do you think is better, okay? So if you have 2 solutions, if you have 3 solutions, and you know 2 of the solutions are bad, that's okay, still write about them. But then you need to choose your option for what you think the best solution will be, okay? And then what in your opinion is the best solution, and then what are the first steps in making that change in the conclusion, okay? And don't worry, I'm gonna work with you slowly over the next few writing classes about this, okay? So this is similar to kind of making a recommendation report in business. Okay, so recommendation reports in business, say your boss comes to you and say, hey, this is a problem that we're having at our job. I want you to work on a solution on how we should fix this, okay? And here's one suggestion, here's another suggestion. You need to kind of look into it and see what's going to happen. And then you need to write this report saying, okay, here's the problem that we're having, here's the consequences that it's having, this is why we need to change it, here's solution number 1, here's solution number 2, here's solution number 3, and then in the last one it says, after reviewing all of these solutions, we feel that the second solution is the best one to go forward in changing how we do this. Here are the first steps in what we need to do this change, right? Okay? Have you ever done something similar in business before? Maybe, maybe not, okay? It's not always in a school. This is more like the corporate world. But what I like about this is that you're making an argument, you're making a case, okay? And the way that it's structured is very similar to reports that people write all the time. So learning the structure of it, the introduction, the body paragraphs, the conclusion, is a good way to improve your writing in general, okay? So don't be worried about grammar, okay? Don't think about that so much in the beginning, okay? There's useful language that you can use. So if you're expressing a cause, since the printer in the office is often causing issues amongst different computers of our coworkers, we have decided to look into purchasing a new printer, okay? So using these phrases, in view of, because of, owing to, due to, the fact that, the reason that, to express the effect, so after, right? Do you know cause and effect? Right? Cause, something happens, the effect, something that happens because that happened, right? Okay? And then you have expressing purpose, so that, so as, in order, or in order not to, with the purpose of, the intention of. Don't worry about this just yet. This will come into play later when we're putting together, and I'll put this back up, when we're putting together our writing. Okay, so we got some writing on the back. But the writing process is the important part, okay? So first we're going to be doing some brainstorming. So today we're going to be doing some brainstorming. We're going to be doing some notes, maybe a word map, maybe an outline, maybe a discussion or meeting with your peers, okay? So if you have some people in the same department as you, you can talk about it and be like, hey, what don't we like? Oh, we don't like it like this. Okay, so what can we do? Okay, so, and then we'll maybe get to the pre-write or the rough draft. So when you do a rough draft, do you know, who's heard of rough draft before? Anyone hear of rough draft? A rough draft. So the first time you write something, before you make corrections to it and make it better, it's called a rough draft. Rough, do you know rough? Not smooth, okay? So if it's rough around the edges, and a draft, so you have your first draft, which is typically the rough draft, the second draft, which is a revised draft, the third draft, which is like the final draft, or fourth draft is the final draft, okay? So we'll probably get started maybe a little bit on this today. If you don't get to here, don't worry, okay? Brainstorming, the more brainstorming you do, the better it's going to go for you in these other steps, okay? Once we get done with this, in further ones, we're gonna do revision. But when you're doing, if you get to the pre-writing or the rough draft section today, you have to realize, I don't care about perfect grammar in it, okay? Because you're gonna go back and you're gonna check. So the point of a rough draft is to just get all of the ideas here out onto the page, okay? So it doesn't matter if the logic, the flow of ideas makes sense just yet. It doesn't matter if the grammar's wrong, it doesn't matter if spelling's wrong, you're going to go back and check it later. The first step is just to get it out, okay? So to unplug it and let it flow out onto the page, okay? Then we'll go back and we'll check for the grammar, the spelling, the punctuation, the flow of ideas, the structure. Then you ask a friend to take a look at it, and then make the corrections, and then the final draft, okay? So, for right now, we're looking at the front side of this page, right? So, you need to think about the problem. Think about the problem, and it doesn't need to be big. You know what it could be? It could be that you want a coffee machine for your office, okay? Don't think big. The point of this is not to, I don't need you to change your jobs, okay? There's other avenues. You're not taking this English class to change your job to make it better. If it's simply, we need a coffee machine in our office because I like free coffee in the morning. Well, it's not free, someone's paying for it, but you get the idea, okay? So,
That's good idea.
okay? So the solution 1, we get a simple coffee machine. Option 2, we get an awesome cappuccino like machine with like the milk steamer and everything, like, or we get like the Nespresso, the like you just press a button, it makes 1 cup, okay? That's 3 solutions right there for the problem, okay? It doesn't need to be big. You just need to think about a problem, okay? Maybe you want matching new jackets for the security team, so when you're out there directing in this cold, rainy weather, you look fashionable, you look cool, and you're warm, right?
Yeah.
And maybe it's got reflecting lights, so then people will see you, right? Okay? So, you just write it down, alright? So figure it out. And then you need to, so it says, what is the problem, or what could be done differently or better? Then the second one says, how would you do it differently? Steps to take. So what are some solutions? Okay? You do not need to write paragraph. You do not, it can just be 1-word answer. Or 2, coffee machine. Okay? Just to brainstorm your ideas. Alright? Then, thinking about the list of solutions, why do you need to change? Okay? There's no wrong way to brainstorm or take notes. The way that Danny takes notes, compared to the way that I take notes, okay, are completely different. He uses like Excel spreadsheets. For me, it's all up here. Some of it escapes, but that's okay. Alright? So, huh? What'd you say? Okay. Alright, so start brainstorming some ideas. Like I said, it does not need to be big. It can be small. We need an electric pencil sharpener. I'm tired of using the hand crank one. Whatever. Okay? Alright? So, what do you think the security guards? Remember, you can also, in the brainstorming, you can also talk to your peers. Okay? So if you have people in the same department, you can talk to each other and say, hey, what do you think would be fun to change? Okay? Alright? So, brainstorming is just think of ideas. So, do you have any problems at work? No. Anything you want to change at work? No problems? Oh, it's a great job. So, and by problem, I don't mean negative. I don't mean it's like, oh, we gotta change this. It could be something that's just like, oh, well, we do it this way, but I think if we did it this way, it'd be better. Okay? So problem is not a bad thing. Don't overthink. Maybe you can say during Spirit Week and parent-teacher conferences, no cars can come in the parking lot. Makes your jobs easier, right? Too many people. Right? So, can you do something different in your job to make your job more easy? Or make your job more enjoyable? Like maybe you have TAS security thermoses so you can have hot tea right on your belt, and then on a cold day you can drink some hot tea and it says TAS security. And it has a flashing red light too, so you can direct traffic with it and then take a drink. I don't know. Good ideas. In the library, how to keep kids quiet.
That's a question.
So you give things they tie around and can't talk, right? When they walk in, they have to put a mask on when they get in the library.
Yeah, I'm asking the same thing.
Hmm.
Don't work with your
Friends?
friends.
Okay. Okay. Or maybe like it's in order to get students to return books on time? What can you do?
If they can return book.
Yeah, if there's one kid that always has overdue books, what can you do to work with that?
You don't know.
I don't know. You know better than me. You're in the library, right? So think of, it doesn't have to be big problem. How to keep them from piling red bean bags on top of each other. You attach the bean bags to the floor, so then they can't move them. For land. Okay. Or maybe there's another machine that
这
you
个问题
don't.
不用太搞太大的，
对，
只是
No?
简单的。
Okay, good enough.
现在没想。
Okay. So what is it? So what is it about that? It takes up time. Don't want to do it. Too many problems. They're all stuck, and then they can't come out. Need better projectors that you have to install in every room by next Tuesday. Like I said, it can be as silly as like a coffee machine, right? Or it doesn't need to be serious. It doesn't need to be serious. Don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. Okay? So, do you have any? No ideas?
No idea.
No ideas? You talk to Kurt. Kurt, what do you want? You want a new what?
New uniform,
Okay.
a brand new kind of
Like style.
style,
Okay. Brand
new style of
uniform.
the uniform.
Okay. So, what do you think about that, Daniel? What do you think about that? New uniform, new style. You like this style? Is it okay, or you want a different style? Maybe can work on together. You can share ideas.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So, new style of uniform. I think that's a good one. So, what about the new style?
The just like the
Iron Man.
Iron Man? Looks like Iron Man? There you go. Wait, yeah, I mean, that could be one solution, but maybe it's too expensive.
Yeah.
But you could offer that as a solution and say, having an Iron Man security uniform would be great, but it costs too much money. So the school can't afford to do it. So maybe we just have to have this type of uniform, right? So it could be, you can make a suggestion be a really bad suggestion that you know is a bad suggestion. So then you can argue against it and say, look, this one, yes, it might be a good suggestion, it'd be great, but it won't work because of this, okay? Who creates, okay? Okay, that's good, because that seems like maybe you can make the work more efficient, right? Instead of having to go back to you later and then it causes a problem, maybe they can do it when they start, right? That's,
They will get more books.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, you know, sometimes that happens. Okay. Secretary.
or what could be done
Correct. RE.
better.
Okay, sure. Okay, good. Keep doing it. All right.
How could
Okay. So it's hard for you to know what you have in the collection.
if we
Check with you so you can see. Okay.
tasks maybe isn't popular.
Okay.
Class 2 is easier.
Okay. That just sounds like you have a good problem to work. Okay. And problem isn't negative, right? It's just something about work, right? Only so much space, and you have to get rid of it with the new redesign, right? You have to like, don't know yet. Okay. So,
Yes.
okay, there you go. I think that's good, and it sounds like you know what you're doing. So if you get to a point where you've answered the questions, what you can do is you can start planning out how you're going to write it. Okay? So think of the introduction. How would you introduce the problem? Let people stop and smell the roses. Sure. What are you laughing about? She's making a good point. That's good. Okay. Okay. No, that's good. Alright. So like, are these the solutions? Or is that just reason? Okay, and then you're gonna come up with solutions. Okay. Alright. Yes, you can write on the back. And I'll bring you more writing paper.
对啊，我就直接
Alright,
写
so
一
this
个
is just first draft.
不要搞太大，
So-
没什么其他的。
So the first
不要搞
draft,
太大，对啊，就是换个新字母嘛，然后
I forgot to include.
穿起来像 Iron Man 的话会有
Alright,
会什么好处？
let me write an outline of how it should look. Right? So, if you are starting on your first draft, you're going to start with the introduction.
Introduction.
Okay? So with the introduction, you want to state what the paper is about. Or the report is about.
Introduction.
Okay? So that would be the problem, what needs changing,
EP work report is about.
why it should change. Then you have the body, okay? So if you imagine a report, the introduction's like the head, right? Then you have the body, okay? Body paragraphs, 1, 2, 3, 4, however many body paragraphs, and then the conclusion. It's like the legs of it, okay? So without the legs, you can't walk, alright? It's just, it doesn't make an argument, right? Okay? So the body paragraphs will then have solution 1, okay? And the results, okay? Imagine what the results might be, okay? So you need to make an argument as to what the results. Maybe it's easy to figure out. Coffee maker, we get a coffee maker by buying it at Carrefour or ordering it through a supplier, and the results are people are going to be more awake in the morning and not so grumpy with each other. I don't know. Okay? So you can guess what the results are. Maybe it's easy to figure out. Maybe it's not as easy to figure out, so you can kind of talk it out with some people as to, oh, what do you think this will do? Oh, well, maybe it creates more work for these people, but it makes it more efficient for the whole school or for the whole department, something like that, okay? And then you would have solution 2, and the same things again, and solution 3, etc. Okay, for however many solutions you have. This would be one paragraph, this would be 2, this would be 3, and actually this would be 2, 3, 4. But each paragraph contains its own solution and the result. Okay? Then you have the conclusion, which is your opinion. So which in your opinion is the best, using the evidence that you talked about. Okay? So using the results that you talked about in the solution, why do those results make the best sense? Okay? Alright? I know you won't get all the way through this, but the introduction should be maybe 3 or 4 sentences. This is a report talking about our need for a coffee maker in the IT department. So we are considering purchasing a coffee maker from a supplier, okay? This is because there have been reports from coworkers that coffee is too expensive in the cafeteria. It's not, it's fine. And they would like to have their own different flavors of coffee because plain and vanilla aren't enough flavors. Right? Okay? So then you have the solution. Solution number 1, get a Mr. Coffee machine maker from Carrefour. How to make the change, right? The results. Okay? Solution number 2, get a blah 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 coffee machine maker, okay? So that's how you go about doing that, and that's just simple enough, right? So I don't know if you'll get past the introduction in this part, and that's fine, alright? Brainstorming is the most important part right now today, and getting started is a great next step. And I'll come around and I'll work with you on trying to put together an introduction, okay? And next week, what I will do is I will have an example of an introduction paragraph and walk you through the process of writing the introduction paragraph and an example body paragraph, so you can then see how body paragraphs are written, okay? But today, the main focus should be brainstorming and then starting on the introduction. Those are the only 2 things that maybe you should do today, okay? And remember, first draft, don't worry about grammar, don't worry about spelling, just worry about getting your ideas onto the page. Okay?
Results.
Okay. Okay. And that's like in your office space. For yours, it's too small, so you want a bigger one.
So like 55 inch.
But then that's maybe too big.
And it makes more comfortable.
Okay. Maybe you can have a happy medium maybe instead of that. That's oh. Yeah. Okay. So what's the problem with it right now? When it's set up, it's more complicated. Because isn't it just our ID?
I need to go IT.
So are you talking about on your end or on our end? So on your end, it would be whatever you're putting into the computer system, or is it on our end where if you send me, to view your payslip, here, and then you, search for the payslip, and then you put the
What
ID
needs
number, right, as the
change?
password,
Yeah.
to be able to see it. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes,
So why is that, if you're in charge of it, you can do it faster?
yes,
Because right now you have to contact these guys
yes.
to then have them set it up. Okay, so there's a way that you, is what you're saying? Okay, because then you don't have to.
If the
Okay, that seems like a good enough
new
Good enough.
problem to work on.
I done.
With brainstorming, you're done with brainstorming, so now do
It's
the
like
introduction, so you
Iron
need to write 4-sentence introduction, right? Like I said, this report is about, so you can use this side,
they can
and then
avoid
start
many
doing the
Please
rough
speak
draft of the first
from
paragraph.
unreasonable
Okay.
people.
So figure out how to talk about what the problem is, what needs changing. So this is one sentence,
好，
right?
发底
Dealing with the problem.
好
Then
稳居
next sentence, then next sentence, and
different.
then you need a transitional sentence.
What
Okay.
is be better suited for answer the problem?
Is anyone else up to the writing portion yet? Procedure. Procedure. Mhm. Okay, so we got about 10 minutes left in class. So if you want to get started on the intro, I can help you with how to do it. Remember, the more that you brainstorm now, the easier it will be when you go to start writing. Alright?
这第二个是什么意思？
诶，他这只是一个建议啊。他说写的话还是要找那个美国人怎么写，先做 introduction， 先做 introduction。
Ooh, I like that.
OK，
That's good.
这个
That's very good. Okay. But do we have ones that work? Are there real ones? They say, slowly, for Japan 2020 Olympics, they're making translators, but it's kind of not, it's very slow. So, but if they have,
this idea.
we can pretend. So you can pretend it's real. And so then you can say, oh, we could buy one, and then, you know, it makes it much easier.
哎
just idea because the Americans TS have many different countries student here.
Sure. Sure.
So accept the communication, talk to their country or
Their language.
daily life. Yes.
Sure. Yeah. No, that's good. But then that makes learning English. Then my job doesn't need to.
Oh.
Fix it.
Just for us.
Okay. So you're starting your school. Okay. Great. Yes. So then you should say period. So this is one sentence.
就是跟现在什么不一样？这个是
Miss buying it.
对他第一个就是
Not
叙
buying
述
it.
那
Right.
个
Okay.
那个
So
那
then
问
say
题，
I
还
don't
有
want to
需要怎么解
forget
决，就
about
是照那个写出来。
buying it. Yeah, forget about it. Okay. So you have your idea. Good. So introduce the problem. Okay. How long does it take?
How long? 1 year.
Reading.
And it's
Is it like on a roll?
yeah.
And so then when it's done, you have to take it off and put on a
Yeah.
new. Maybe you should invent a new one and you can
Yeah.
you can stop and smell roses, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I can mention about the time for changing the thing.
Yeah. think instead of process, procedure. Better. And you don't even need work, you can just say the procedure. Okay. So you don't wanna get too, for the introduction, you don't wanna go too in-depth. You just wanna be general. You could say, I think there is another procedure that would be better suited for the order in which they receive the information for students. So don't, in the introduction, it's gonna be very short. It's gonna be a one paragraph. On a report, a lot of times it's the smallest section. And then it goes into the next section, the paragraph like that, right? So the introduction is just saying, this is what the report's about, this is the problem that we're having, these are some of the suggestions, or these are what we need to change about it. And then it goes into the next section. So you don't go into too much detail for the introduction, because you're saying what is going to be talked about. And then you go into detail in the body paragraphs, okay? Huh? Frustrated? Frustrated. F-R-U-S-T-R-A-T-E-D. Frustrated. F-R-U-S.
Frustrated.
R-A-T-E-D. Frustrated. Okay. Excuse me. No, my fault. Okay, got 4 more minutes. And change it to you. Okay. So solution 1 is the Iron Man.
Look like an Iron Man.
Okay, so that's solution 1. And then solution 2 would be what? Maybe more modern design. Maybe modern security guard. Okay. So, because this, you talk about their uniforms, so why is that a better solution? So that's what that would be. Okay. It's okay. Okay, good. That's a good introduction. It just states what the problem is, and then now you're going into solutions. Okay. So, good. All right. Remember, introduction should be very brief and not go into too much detail. You're just introducing the problem and what needs to change and why it should change. Okay? You're not offering solutions in the first one. Okay? So it needs to be in paragraph 1, so then next here's the full one, and I'll show you how to put this into paragraph 1, okay? Alright, so don't worry about it, this looks good, though, like you have a lot of what you need, but writing it out in complete sense, it's in a paragraph 1, okay? So don't, I'll show you next time how to do that, okay? Alright, and just take it and then just bring it back next time, okay? Alright. So don't worry if you haven't gotten to the introduction part.
Martin.
Alright? Maybe some of you are stopping and smelling the roses. Is that the basketball?
No.
When's that basketball here? It was here before?
Yes.
One of the students. Not my students, different students. So. Yeah, but I shared with another teacher, and my students didn't have a basketball today. I only had 9 students come through here. So. Alright, so you can go ahead and wrap up. Don't worry if you didn't get through the introduction, that's okay. Like I said, the majority of what you should have been focusing on this time was brainstorming. Next time I will show you how to write an introduction paragraph. If you didn't finish your brainstorming, that will be your homework for next time, so then you can work on writing the introduction. Okay? If you already got to writing the introduction, I'll work with you next time on polishing it, and then also talk about the first body paragraph. Okay? So, get out of here.
不用了，他就是今天把introduction写出来，然后下一堂课的时候就要写那个body嘛，对，他就教我们怎么写body。我想过那种双向的翻译机，一台好的要2-3万。
我上次
If you're having trouble with your
上次
brainstorming,
好像
talk
有
to
看
some
过那个影片，好像
coworkers,
是
see if they have
但是是网
suggestions
络里面
for
的嘛，
your
他说有一
ideas.
个在大陆还是已经有了，
这样讲一讲，然后
他就马上就有了
对。他立刻就发出来，然后你就拿给对方，对方讲，
No, no,
他
no,
立
don't
刻
worry about it.
对，
Just
好像有
this
看
is
到
fine.
不知道哪边的
So the only work that you need to do is this if you didn't finish. And you finish.
针对新人才要
Just wait,
那个
yeah, wait till
西
you
用上面
do
就有
more.
卖，
有哈。
西用上面有卖，很贵。
如果像有那种麦克风式的耳机有，那直接传。
expensive。
Solution 2.
Okay. Take Mr. Clean's. Take Mr. Clean's class. But yeah, that's good. So, reading by myself.
Myself.
And then, so why are each one of these? 1, fastest solution. 2, Mr. King is cool. 3, studying is good. Right? Learning English is always good.
Then this one called transformation just for one. But if you can talk
Yeah.
so you can drop it.
Sure. But also, some people it's too easy, so then they only use that and they never learn. Right? So, have to study by yourself also.
Okay.
See you.
OK，先生。